Welcome to Vinyl Verdict. I'm Bell.
I'm Jamie.
And I'm Adam.
And this week, it's Adam's pick. Adam, what are we listening to?
We are listening to
You don't remember?
Sunbather, the second album by post-rock / shoegaze / black metal band Deafheaven.
Tell me more. I don't know anything about shoegaze or black metal.
So,
or post-rock.
We got so much to talk about. Let's set the scene. It was 2012. The remnants of Deafheaven were trudging forward after the release of their debut album, Roads to Judah. The band, originally a duo consisting of George Clark and guitarist Kerry McCoy, had grown to a quintet before falling apart again. During this time, the two core members would write the majority of their upcoming album, Sunbather. I almost called it
self-titled.
Almost decided to hang up. But during this, they also almost decided to hang in the towel and quit entirely.
Throw in the towel.
Hang up the towel. Hang in the towel. Hang in. Decided to hand in their badge to Officer Music, Constable Music, and quit the force entirely.
Give me your gun and your badge.
During these evenings of contemplation, they would begin writing some of the riffs. They figured, hey, let's just put this stuff together because they liked how it sounded, and they said, hey, let's just give her one more go. They would then acquire their rhythm guitarist and find a drummer and a bassist. They had to find all three of those guys, and they would form the core of what became Deafheaven. And that lineup has remained substantially more stable ever since. This album became a massive crossover hit thanks to its sense of melody and how it swerves between the fringes of Nordic black metal and inspirational crescendos of post-rock.
Yeah.
I think a big part of why it was such a crossover hit was because of the album cover.
It's a great album cover.
It's an iconic, beautiful album cover that I feel like many people have probably seen, even if they hadn't heard of the band.
It looks familiar. You're right.
I can't remember. It was inspired by the typography of another album cover that they really enjoyed. I actually ignored this album for the better part of 2 years because I saw the cover everywhere, but I assumed it was EDM.
Accurate.
And at the time, I was a pretentious idiot who didn't care for EDM, so I never really bothered to check it out, despite its high critical reception. Once I found out it was a metal album, I checked it out, and I listened to it in the sunny backyard of the duplex I was living in at the time with my roommates in college. From the first moments of the album, I was enraptured, as it vacillated between harsh, aggressive metal and warm, yearning post-rock with a wall of sound, warped shoegaze production quality. It's not like a new formula. There has been bands for doing it, like Alcest, who have been doing it for years, but it was a new sound to me, and usually is referred to as black gaze, a mix of black metal and shoegaze. The combination, the whole package, ended up making this one of the most important albums of the genre and is still considered a high watermark for the genre today. And I think it's for good reason. And interestingly enough, the black metal community is quite insular. I don't know if you guys have either of you. I don't really know the extent of your metal. I know, Bell, you don't listen to much metal music.
Correct.
I think most of the metal you've listened to has probably been from this podcast.
Correct.
Jamie, I don't really know the extent at which you listen to metal. I know you do, but I don't know how into the weeds you get.
Not that. I'm a surface level metal listener. I like your classic metals, like your Judas Priest,
aluminum,
steel, iron,
nickel,
copper. I like your classic metal artists like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Your Metallicas, your Megadeths.
Are you like an extreme metal guy? You ever listen to any extreme metal bands, really?
Name one.
I don't know, like Cannibal Corpse or
oh no,
Lamb of God.
Lamb
of God's not really extreme metal, but they're borderline.
Yeah, I know who Lamb of God is. I've listened to some of their stuff.
Okay.
I like Slayer.
Slayer, yeah.
And I went to a Metallica concert, and Avenged Sevenfold and Volbeat were there.
Oh, that's a fun lineup.
Yeah,
that
was a great show. It was Monsters of Rock.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Now, all of those rock bands would be considered sellouts, baby stuff
Baby metal.
for the weak-hearted,
but
for
not
the feeble
sorry, baby
mainstream
metal is a
minds.
real genre, though, isn't it?
Baby metal's a band.
Yes.
I like baby metal.
Baby metal's pretty fun.
I have listened to baby metal, the Japanese band. So good.
Yeah. They should do a collab, Deafheaven and baby metal. But all of these bands would be considered like faux and fake and not real to the true cult black metal fans.
Like Norwegian black metal?
Norwegian black metal. I have a little bit of background listening to that because I was drawn into the black metal scene by the way of the urban legends that surrounded it, and also criminal facts, not just urban legends, from bands like Mayhem.
Mm-hmm. I know who Mayhem is.
There's kind of they're interesting to listen to. It's almost like a true crime thing, right? It's the same deal. There's this kind of morbid fascination. The disturbing lyrics and album covers of bands like Cannibal Corpse and Death, and haunting imagery of dark bands like Darkthrone, and hearing of folks of like Vargs Vicom or Burzum, whose notoriety included burning churches, the murder of ex bandmates. They even used the picture of their vocalists. I guess we're gonna use a content warning here.
Mm-hmm.
Skip ahead maybe 15 seconds if you don't want to hear too much. Let's make it 30. They used a picture of the vocalist's shotgunned head as a cover for the live bootleg. I can't remember who came in. I think it was Euronymous is the name of the guy. He came in. He saw that their vocalist had committed suicide. He said, "You know what? I'm going to move some things around to make a nicer picture, take a picture of it, and then put it on the album cover." The black metal scene had this morbid edge that was hard to resist, and some pretty good music. I would recommend to do your best to check out bands like Burzum in a manner that provides them no financial support, because Vargs Vikernes is a loser Nazi idiot, but he has made some historically significant music. And all of these bands are like obsessed with this like antisocial behavior. They're like, oh, you have to be truly dark, truly metal. You have to hate everything.
You can't stop the metal.
It's like really weird. It's not even like you can't stop. It's not like Tenacious D.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stop the metal. It's not even like Empowered. It's like we just hate everybody, and unless you're like evil enough or enough of a dickhead, or your album sounds crappy enough, like they intentionally made their albums sound like garbage so that people would be less likely to listen to them, to keep their scene truly anarchistic and Satan worshipping and murderous and church burny, which is in stark contrast to this album. Granted, there's a whole ocean and 20 years between the peak of the Norwegian black metal scene and this album, but even then, this album received a lot of hate towards it, undue of not being true metal and of kind of taking black metal not seriously enough. It's not, because it's like you got this bright pink album cover. The vocalist had short hair. Nobody was like wearing corpse paint or anything like that.
Yeah.
And you have to do all of that if you want to be really metal.
You asked earlier if I did listen to extreme metal, and it turns out I have, because Brad, our coworker, asked me if we would ever want to cover the album Melissa by Merciful Fate. Which is an early example of extreme metal and was a huge influence on thrash metal, and black metal.
Yes. So you've listened to a little bit.
Yeah, I listened to it last week because Brad was like, you should listen to this. I want to hear you guys hate this album. I was like, I think I might like this album. Anyway,
but what do you think about it, Mel?
Yeah, I've never heard of Deafheaven before, so I was excited to listen, and I was surprised about how critically acclaimed the album was. I'd never heard of it, never seen the album cover, though it is very striking. I looked up other albums released in 2013, and it was a stacked year. Crazy. Wolf by Tyler Creator, which we've covered. AM by Arctic Monkeys, which we've covered. Vessel by 21 Pilots, which we've covered. Random Access Memories by Daft Punk. Lord's Pure Heroin. Dixon Cider by Smosh. It was a wild year. A ton of different options.
Wow.
You know what's interesting? The songs of the album are long, with the whole album being a couple seconds short of an hour.
Yeah.
With, there's only 7 songs.
That's great.
It doesn't feel long, which is great. I don't think at any point I was like, this feels super, super long. Even when I was writing to review it, though I wasn't like, I'm not going to say I had a blast listening. I did enjoy it and didn't find myself like getting super bored. It just is, it was kind of there. This album, though, I was listening first in the car and I was like, it sounds okay. And then I listened with AirPods on and I was like, this doesn't sound good. This album does not sound great. The vocals are crunchy from like peaking and compressing. The instrumentation sounds fine though. It's really like the vocals are not good, which is too bad. I don't know if it is like a wall of noise thing or what, but I just really did not enjoy kind of chunks of the vocals or the whole album.
Yeah, that's actually like you noticed like exactly one of the flaws, and that's one of the things they fixed on the remaster. Which is the actual version of the album that I have, is the 10th anniversary remaster. I didn't direct you guys to listen to it because I don't think it's substantially different enough to really merit a reappraisal. So, both versions are fine. I actually am partial to the original version, but that's probably because I've listened to this album so many times. It's just the one that I know. So when things sound slightly different, there are things that are crisper on the new album that we'll talk about later. But
they really bury the vocals in the mix. On the original version, the vocals are very buried.
Yeah, which I think actually helps make it more accessible, because
I actually enjoy that as well, because it makes it less screamy almost. Yeah, but you still get the vibe.
Yeah, it's not so in your face, so gross, so shrieky. It's you're like, oh, it's a little further back.
The only thing is that I can't understand a word he's saying, and it's not just because he's screaming; it also is because he's so far away. It's like, what is he screaming? I have no idea.
Yeah, and it's funny because the lyrics are really good for the album, but you wouldn't know unless you they're a great read.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Again, coming into this without any idea, I was like, what is the instrumentation? Like, it's like some songs feel like they're instrumentals for late 2000s pop punk songs. It's like, I did not expect that, and I meant it in a good way. It just was like a lot lighter in moments than I expected.
Yeah, and I think that goes a long way in making this album palatable, because it can be so loud, so aggressive, and relentless that the moment they're like, okay, we're gonna take it back. You've had like 2-3 minutes of like insane energy. Let's dial it back. Let's get more melodic.
Yeah,
and then you get a nice breather.
Yeah, before
you can settle back in. So it gives these crazy peaks and valleys and a very emotional roller coaster of music.
Yeah, I tried to plot them out for a number of the songs, but yeah, it does. There are many sections to each song. Well, at least the long ones.
Yeah,
there are fewer sections to the shorter song. But it's sort of like other albums we've covered, where there are like key points in each song. But I liked a lot of it. The album is incredible, like back to back. Just one stinker on it. Like, I don't think Windows is a good song, or it doesn't warrant inclusion on this album. But the beginning, Dreamhouse, and the end, the Pecan Tree. Oh,
yeah,
so good.
Yeah, absolutely
beautiful.
I mean, should we just give it one last listen? Or do you have more to say?
One more note.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'll really have a whole lot to say this episode. I will spoil that I did enjoy the album, even though it's a genre I never really listened to before. It's just that the inexperience of this makes it really... It's kind of like listening to an electronic album. Like, if you don't really know what to listen for, it's just kind of like, it's like old people being like, pew-pew toilet noises. It's kind of like how I felt listening to this. It's like, I don't know what to say other than the drummer goes...
Yeah, that's
for 14 minutes straight, which is cool, but like, it's every song.
His drumming is incredible.
It's unrelenting for up to 14 minutes straight.
Yeah. I would say the drumming is... The funny thing is the drumming is very dynamic for compared to a lot of black metal drumming.
Yeah, which just shows like I don't know what I'm listening for. I'm one of those people who would have just been like, I would have seen that album cover, not in Urban Outfitters, but you see that default basic album cover and you go, oh, that looks neat. And then you go, okay, this actually wasn't that bad. But I just don't know how to vocalize any of it. So a lot of this is going to be me being like, okay.
Oh, the inspiration for that cover is from a Pulp album. It's the inspiration it is from the album We Love Life, released in 2001.
Which is kind of funny because this album is not about loving life, really.
No.
See, and I'd heard it was what you see when you close your eyes and look at the sun. Because you're sunbathing.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
It
both. Both are true. The inspiration to have the title Sunbather written in a simple block formation is from Pulp, but the pink and orange colors on the cover are meant to resemble the colors seen on the inside of one's eyelids when lying in the sun.
I like it when we're both right.
Yeah.
I like it when that happens. And I also like it when we give it one last listen.
Absolutely legendary opening track.
Oh.
The urgent tremolo-picked guitar chords that ascend into the unknown, joined by second guitar, and then finally the rest of the band just immediately emerges with insane fiery blast beats. Guitars breaking down into like the lower registers, and we get this inspiring lead line as the George Clark just starts shrieking. It's such a powerful opening.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. It has explosions in the sky levels of layering of music. Because I don't know how many guitarists are in that group, but it sounds like there's way more than just two guitarists in this one. Because
on this album, there's a again as a shoegaze band as well. So very for those who don't understand what the term is, so it's a reference to guitarists looking down at their pedal boards. They're gazing at their shoes because they're so focused on layering more and more guitar effects or loop pedals and stuff like that. So this album has tons and tons of layers. Every single song has multiple guitar layers that are not that like more than they could feasibly play. Especially when they have to play these like really fast tremolo picked guitars.
I'd love to see their touring band.
They toured with just as a 5-piece. At least when I saw them, they were a 5-piece. It still sounded great.
I imagine so, yeah.
So lyrically, if you don't know what it's saying, that's okay. Nobody does. But the lyrics are really great. Dreamhouse is about George Clark's struggle with alcoholism and how it's warped his perception, the barriers he's put up between himself and his loved ones. And especially at the end, some of the most iconic lyrics from the album, which are "I'm dying," which is a conversation between him and his girlfriend at the time, was saying, "I'm dying. Is it blissful? It's like a dream. I want to dream." Sad. Alcoholism. Also sad, difficult. And I think that comes across in the music where there's like great dichotomy, the way that they use their harmonies of like uplifting vocal melodies with these kind of discordant lower tones. They keep it almost feeling, they turn it in from like being exclusively happy to almost yearning or longing for that same happiness.
Yeah.
And I think it works so masterfully. And another thing that you can also hear on Dreamhouse is how, because of all the layers, when you listen to this, like the more you listen to this album, the more you're like, oh, I didn't realize that there was like a smaller melody buried in the mix. And small different harmonic layers of so many different pieces are moving.
Yeah. I noted a couple of things that I thought were really incredible or notable. I noted that the drums around 130 sounded really neat. I don't know what he's doing there. I don't know how to describe it, but it sounded neat.
Yeah.
And it was enough that I made a note.
The way he's doing the kind of like the big cymbal hits with the like triple triplet kicks before them to punctuate them.
Man, he's really doing it. Yeah. That sounded cool.
If there's one thing you could say about the drums on this album is that he's really doing it.
Yeah, he's doing it. he's really hitting them.
Yeah, it's such a funny start to the album because I didn't go into this. I mean, I think at one point you'd said, like, I want to pick a metal album, but I didn't really think about it. So you picked this. And when it came on, I was like, okay, it feels like the inspirational bridge of like a mid-2000s pop song, like a Coldplay song. and then the screaming came in, and I was like, "Oh my god,
Oh, what did I do?
That's crazy." The song is very cinematic, though. I think that's kind of a thing with a lot of their songs. They feel
Yeah.
very, very cinematic. It's neat stuff.
I described something around 2 minutes and 50 seconds as Blink-182-esque sounds.
It's that lead guitar.
Yeah.
It's totally, it's that little it's that guitar tone there.
Yeah, chimey, I guess
Yeah.
is the best way of describing it. And then that little quiet part around 5:45-ish, where you get a little reprieve before you get right back into it. Oh, so good. Dreamhouse is probably one of the standout tracks on there. The title track also good, but Dreamhouse really stands out as an opener.
Yeah, I think Dreamhouse is like one of the best songs in their catalog to me. I think it's
Certainly.
so great.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get that kind of that sad, slow part. You get that little break. And the way they build it back up to go from that slower second part.
So good.
C'est magnifique. After Dreamhouse, we go into Irresistible.
It segues.
Yeah, I
They
do like
sort
the way
of-
they cross over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is when you said Explosions in the Sky.
Yeah.
This album, this
Oh,
song
100%.
is so
100%.
Oh yeah, that's funny. I know Explosions guy.
yeah, it's
100%.
so that with the kind of it's a simple, repetitive layering, growing layers of guitar. It's almost meditative in a sense because it
Certainly.
is really not a lot of development in the song. It's just adding these layers
Mhm.
and then slowly peeling them away as they're replaced by a pedal point of a piano.
Yeah,
being
the
played.
piano is really nice
Um,
inclusion on here.
And it's simple and beautiful.
Yeah, I really like the nice chiming sound of the guitar on this particular one. I thought the conclusion of the piano was a really nice touch.
Yeah, the piano also like pans between the speakers too, which is neat. I was surprised they bothered to make it a separate song. I guess other than the fact that it feels so different with the heavy crossfade. I'd never realized it was the same song when I was like driving and listening. Or sorry, it was a different song when I was driving and listening until you get to Sunbather because it's so starkly different that it's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is another song. But I had assumed Irresistible and Dreamhouse were the same track.
I feel like they kind of are a package because there is a literal bridge of silence at the end of this track, and also on the vinyl itself, which I know they didn't write this thinking that they were probably going to get a vinyl pressing, maybe, but that it is the end of the first half, which is nice because it helps you avoid the jump scare, where it's like,
Oh, are you saying that? How many LPs is this?
it's a double LP.
Oh,
It's a 45s.
Oh, okay. And now I understand more. Okay, so this ends the first half because
Yeah, digitally it's a scare for sure.
yeah,
it was-
'cause this is. I was like, this is only 12 minutes of music at this point.
yeah. But
Okay.
at the end of Irresistible, you're like,
Mm.
as it comes in. Immediately.
Simply Irresistible. That's a different song. Then we get into Sunbather. The lyrics are again buried in the mix. That's a common theme. They don't like the lyrics are there, but I mean, if you can make them out, that's
The album's intense. I mean, I think that's also part of the shoegaze influence. Like you listen to like
Certainly.
My Bloody Valentine,
yeah.
and you're like,
yeah.
you can barely hear what they're saying. But it's part of what makes the band feel massive. Like this was kind of my problem. This is like the opposite end of the spectrum of the problem I had with Lana Del Rey and the production, where I was like, you have this lush instrumentation and her voice is too prominent in the mix.
Oh, okay.
This
sure.
is like kind of the other end of that spectrum where you're almost losing the vocals.
yeah.
I think it works here really well, but it's what I think lends itself to making the band feel massive. Because if you put these vocals way at the front, you're just going like, oh, he's yelling.
What is it?
He's
Angry
yelling
Man
really
Yelling?
loud. But here
Yeah.
you're like, it's like he's desperately screaming to try and be heard over the noise.
Yeah.
And it makes it so much more impactful and the band feel huge.
Well, it also feels huge because of the many layer guitars
Mhm.
and the yeah.
It all works
Um,
together to push that feeling.
Yeah, the Sunbather is good. I won't say I liked it as much as Dreamhouse, but Sunbather is good. It's a good title track. Just like Dreamhouse, it has a number of little breaks in it where they take they slow it down or they quiet it down a little bit, and then they hit you with a different angle. So, for example, there's one around, I will call it 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and then they come right back at you around maybe 30 seconds later, around 3:15, where they hit you with a different angle. And I really like that. I don't know if you describe it as a breakdown in this one, but it was really good. The drums on this song are incredible.
Yeah.
There's a number of points in this song where I pointed out that, or I wrote down in my notes that the guitars are just putting in work. Like
Everybody in this band is just like drenched in sweat. Like,
I really
audio only. That'll be a really good clip.
Adam was miming, playing the guitar very quickly. Now we're the descriptive video channel. Now he's hitting the drums really hard. Wow, he's going really fast. Now he's singing. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, the guitar's around 6 minutes, just putting in work. God, it sounds good. And then the part at the end, really good too. Like that really nice, like ending section is real good.
yeah, I think it's cool because they find a different way to build on this track by having the start be more laid back. It comes in immediately right loud with all those drums, but the drums aren't like doing the blast beats yet, so it has room to grow. There's these cool like kind of quick little rolls that they do on the snare at the start.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you got this kind of, the upper melodies are lending these like are quite nice and uplifting, but then you have that like immediate discordance that they start the track with to get that kind of cool tone, and then before the lead plays up some single note melodies that opens the space massively, before a very quiet single guitar like kind of loosely strums the guitar tone, like chords at like 3 minutes, and then you come in with this insane lead guitar line like 20 seconds once the band comes back in. It's so cool. It's kind of quiet in the mix, but it is such an amazing like little line that like it's like do 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 do.
Yeah.
You're like, oh. And also, I will say the double hit that happens at 5:07 is like absolute peak mosh fodder. When they play the song live, people go so hard when it just goes like dan dan, and it's like
That's when it starts to get really good for me. Is that 5 minutes when it starts to get a little bit darker?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, things are switching up a bit, which I enjoyed. Maybe it's just because of this speed. I'm not, again, accustomed to it being brighter and lighter. So when it gets darker, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's really cool development.
Lyrically, this song, Clark says that this song was inspired by the wealth inequality he saw on display in San Luis Obispo. I don't know.
San Luis Obispo. Yeah.
Sure. San Luis Obispo.
San Luis Obispo. Yeah, sure.
San Luis Obispo. Joe Biden. Wake up. I've always had.
That was an activation code. Someone just crashed their car and is sprinting into the woods.
Clark has said he's always had an obsession with wealth, both anger for it and yet longing for it. It's a theme that is presented throughout the record. He talks about driving through a neighborhood, seeing how perfect everything is, and feeling both an immense attraction to the wealthy woman he's spying upon, sunbathing, and also subtle disdain for her. And I think feeling that it's something that he'll never be able to obtain.
Word.
All the lyrics are, see, this is why the lyrics are kind of one of the things that are like, oh, this is very not metal. Because it's not about like slaughter and Satan and violence, and it's about like, I saw a woman sunbathing. Her grass was very tall. It was really nice out. Why can't I have that? Except for he's screaming it. And then after we end with the powerful crescendo of the song, we take another interlude.
Yeah.
I don't know about this one.
Puis remember.
I don't know about this one.
Stefan Pout of Alcest, which is another group.
The spoken word vocals are neat. And then the loud scream or feedback or whatever it is that gets louder and louder from 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 3 minutes and 20 seconds is hell. It's awful. It's truly awful. I was driving and I was like, am I about to crash my car? Like, am I having a stroke? Like, it's such a loud, and it's like a woman screaming into feedback. Like, it's such a crazy pitch.
It's like, I think it's like a jet engine or something.
It is
but
awful.
it sounds like a scream, and it's terrifying.
I swear to God, it sounds like someone just running their fingernail up the strings or something.
Yeah, I have no idea how they made it. I just know that it sounds like it just reminds me of a motor, and then it kind of goes down at the end. Like, I like the reading. Also, this is as a band I mentioned in the intro, Alcest. Big influence for these guys. The vocalist from that band is reading this passage.
Yeah.
I like the creepy reversed guitars. It reminds me of the music in do you ever watch those like those Majora's Mask like creepypasta, like Ben.mp4 or whatever? Reminds me of that. And I think the distortion that comes in the noise is really, really cool. I agree that it's awful and grating, but I would rather listen to that half of the song than the second half of the song.
But the quiet acoustic guitar part?
I think that for me, the back half of the song feels a little boring. Whereas I think the sound design in this and
it's the
noise collage that is the first half is really interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the only one with acoustic guitar on it. Like on this whole album.
You might be right.
Yeah. I'm not willing to fact check it, but but then after the weird jump scare of Police Remember's Scream, we get into Vertigo. Not just a movie or a syndrome.
A U2 song.
Hello. Hola. I like the opening and how we kind of get to like eased back into it from after that really calm acoustic track.
Mm-hmm.
We get the reverbed guitars with the kind of like a reverse reverb layer on them. It's really a weird noise. It's very cool. I don't really know how to explain it. And then you get these kind of tumbling tom line as you have this like almost bowed guitar tone. It sounds on the top.
Yeah, sort of. Sure.
Maybe like an ebow or something.
Yeah.
Over these tumbling drums with the bell hitting.
Yeah. The intro to this song is incredible.
Yeah. And before it comes in, and you get this for about a minute, 2-3 minutes. It's incredible how like when you like numerically look at how long these sections are, you'd be like, that's like the length of a song for a lot of artists.
Exactly.
But they do enough with layers and intrigue and rhythm that everything remains interesting.
This song is the longest on the album. It is 14 minutes and 37 seconds long. I imagine it takes up the entire side of one of your 45s.
I believe that it does. I think you get it's Dreamhouse, Irresistible, Sunbather, Please, and then I think the back, and then it's Vertigo, and then it's Windows and Pecan Tree.
Pecan Tree, the pecans. Yeah, the little change up once we get around 3:35, kind of like change up from the intro section is that's good.
Terrifying, discordant guitars.
Yeah, this is the first song that feels more tumultuous the entire runtime, and it's probably my least favorite track on the album.
Really?
It's still not the worst. It just doesn't land as something I'd want to listen to super often when compared to the other tracks so far. I do like the sudden ramp up just before the 12-minute mark after things cool down around 10:30. I think it's cool. Like simmers back down and then just is right back up.
Sure,
it's got like I like how it's got like a bona fide guitar solo on it almost.
Boner fide.
And like
it's got people yapping
at 4:35.
Oh, the noodly part? Yeah, the little noodly part.
It's kind of cool to have like a more traditional metal kind of guitar solo in it, rock guitar solo.
I liked it.
And before it also, then it's like somehow they go and they make the layer even bigger. They like took the layer that they've already started with and kind of do the same thing where they just like land on this one note and then it sounds huge when George comes in. And then the drums like, yeah, it's so cool.
Adam's playing his air drums so loud.
It's how much mileage can you get out of a blast beat? And apparently it's a lot.
Yeah.
Because you'd think that it would just be like, you're just like, okay, settle down.
Yeah. And
it's
then
just
you kind of get this section from 4:35 until about 8:15. And then we get a change up. And it's cool. And then that change up lasts with
the double kicks come in.
Yeah.
It's like a kind of a galloping double kick feel.
So we get that section until about 11:50, and then that section kind of ends the song out. But yeah, there's at least 4 distinct sections to this 14-minute song. Great intro. It's pretty good. I don't know. I like it.
I love the 8-minute mark. Is the peak of the song.
Sure. Yeah.
So good.
with the double kicks. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, noodly.
And lyrically, the song's about looking back at the actions of his life with regret, contemplating if his wealth or the lack thereof, a common theme, being very broke artists at the time, deciding to make music that was typically not, that they were not expecting to become successful making, to become wealthy making. And after the dramatic and intense Vertigo, we get into Windows, which is a field recording of the guitarist spending pretty much his last bunch of cash on buying drugs.
Yeah, this is the worst song, or at least my least favorite. The screeching street noise, the preacher, the arguing with a drug dealer. It's cool that it's all like real stuff, but it's not a fun listen since I don't know what the song's lyrics are or what they're really saying, and I don't know. It doesn't really leave an impact. It just kind of is.
I just want enough for 3.
It's like, okay, man. I've been ripped off before, man. I'm just saying I've been ripped off before. I'm like, okay, man. But like the screeching of like the brakes and cars and stuff, it's all just too much. It's not enjoyable to listen to.
No, it is loud. It's very great.
I like how there's like a scratchy noise under it when he's like doing the drug deal. It's like almost like somebody's like frantically writing a note.
Oh, sure.
Underneath the whole thing, that goes away entirely when there's like when the preacher's talking.
It's like the notes on it. I forget. Maybe it was Pitchfork's review said it was a beautiful drone accompanied by Bible readings, and I was like, yeah, I guess. I don't know, man. It wasn't for me.
I like this a lot. I think it's really cool. I think the dark tension is something that I like really enjoyed, and I think that's cool how there's the sound dissipates as he's listening to like the words of the Lord, like the church is a sense of reprieve, but then what the preacher's talking about is like there is a hell is real, and it's like how it feels like the places that you go to clarity if you're struggling with addiction. The places that you go for clarity are often the ones that are so quick to chastise you for it. Right? He's like, what if I go find God? And then the only thing he can hear is, there's a hell is real. Jesus spoke more of hell. You should change your life. And that stress could just lead you back to that drug dealer.
Yeah.
The scratchiness, the anxiety comes back in underneath it as he goes and talks to the drug dealer. And the sounds of the street are kind of like overwhelming. I think it's a really, really cool sound collage piece. I get how I'm not going to put it on for fun, but as like a section on the album, I think it's really, really cool.
Yeah, as an interlude, yeah.
So that's my defense of it.
Okay, anyway.
Also, you have to listen to it if you're going to listen to Peak Entry, because on the record, you can't skip. Though you could just drop the needle in the middle.
You could just move the needle around, yeah. When we get into pecan tree or the pecan tree or the pecan tree.
The pecan tree. There's so many ways to say pecan.
I love pecan pie.
The pecan tree.
Pecan 5.
The heckin' tree.
Who else likes pecan pie? Write down in the comments.
Yeah, if you like pecan pie, tell us.
Anyway, this is the last song on the album. It is the second longest at 11 minutes and 27 seconds.
And it comes out the gate screaming.
Yeah. Yeah, sure do.
Immediately into the blast beats with these like discordant minor key kind of chords. George Clark shrieking immediately. I love the intensity that the song starts with.
I agree. Drooling red from my eyes. Oof. No, that's the thing. Yeah, he talks about the lyrics talk about how he's like his father's son, and it's like no one loves him and stuff like that. It's in his blood to be like the crappy human being he is.
I like how in the first couple minutes the guitar sounds like the Tetris theme song.
Yeah,
sure.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely.
It's just like a slow version of the Tetris theme song. I was like, that's crazy. I would have loved an epic ending instead of a fade out, but it is what it is.
I think the fade out works in this song.
Yeah, you say that every time any song ever fades out.
That's not true. There's lots of fade outs where I said they happen too
name
quick.
12.
Name 12? Okay.
No, never mind.
What did I do?
At 133, the section where we're getting the like super quick hi-hats and the snare hits, really cool way to open up the mix, take a little breathing room while keeping the intensity ramped. I also like how the as you said, like the Tetris melody is like a melody in the lower range of the guitar, which I think they haven't explored as much for like melodic instrumentation, or especially when like in metal, the low end of the guitar is usually where you're expecting a lot. Like the riff lives at the low at the bottom of the neck, right?
Yeah.
Especially in guitar. And we still get, there's just so much drama in this song. God, the Peak, this is probably my favorite track on the album. I think this is a phenomenal track to end.
I think Dreamhouse is my favorite.
I think that's a very fair selection.
Like the Pecan Tree is also very good. But I had more to say about Dreamhouse. It left more of an impression on me. But having said that, after listening to 59 minutes and 58 seconds of this album, it's a lot.
Well, I think that's the smart thing about on the Pecan Tree is that it does actually lighten up. It comes off pretty heavy.
Yes, I will say
in the first half, and then
it lightens up
after 4 minutes. It's like, okay, let's give you a nice atmospheric section. A nice piano arpeggio comes in as it slowly builds up for like the next several minutes. You get some like kind of background voice collage stuff come in again.
Yeah.
Which feels like a cool kind of summary. I don't really know what they're saying. It's like kind of below the mix. You just hear that there's people talking. And before it blows up into that massive outro riff.
Yeah. The outro riff is quick.
With the incredible lyrics, the like the heart-wrenching screams with the lyrics saying, "I am my father's son. I am no one I cannot love. It's in my blood." Feeling like there's nothing you can change about who you are because it's the genetics. It's what nature gave you, and there's no way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very sad and emotionally cathartic to hear this kind of emotional, intense release in the track. And my favorite moment on the entire album happens in this song. I don't know the exact timestamp, but for most of the outro, the riff is like, do 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 do, and it goes dun 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 dun. It does that, but one time, instead of going dun 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 dun, the guitar goes and it's sick as hell. I think it's like the 9-minute mark, maybe. But it's my favorite moment on the entire album. It gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. And the other ones, yeah, so good.
Yeah. I enjoyed this album a lot more than I thought I would. Like I like metal. My, listeners of the podcast might be like, "Oh, Jamie wouldn't enjoy that." I don't know. I like to keep an open mind. And
it's at 9 minutes and 24 seconds. So it goes.
Ooh,
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I was very interested to see how you guys would like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really glad that you like it.
It's unusual that we get a quorum on such an interesting or off norm album, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's not like something we would normally talk about. We talked about we talked about a pop album. Your first pick was Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion.
Yeah,
like, this is kind of out of left field, I guess. Or
I definitely like. I think we don't talk about metal that much.
Well, I don't own that many metal albums. I mean, I own a fair amount, but
I also don't own that many metal albums because a lot of this stuff is like, if I'm gonna own it on vinyl, I'm probably playing it around the house.
Yeah,
and sure Shay has to tolerate it.
And the cat.
So
you don't want to scare the kitty.
He's fine with it.
Oh, okay.
He rocks out with his cock out.
Oh, noted. Why don't you tell us about the album, big guy?
Okay, yeah. So the album, it's the 10th anniversary edition. So it is the remixed and remastered version. As I said earlier, it is a double LP at 45 RPM, which I realized after I put it on. I was like, wow, this pressing sounds awful. I realized it was playing too slow.
Oh,
and it sounds pretty good. It's a little hard to remove my opinion of how it sounds as a record from my feelings about how the remix and remaster sounds. The remix and remaster makes the drums sound much more crisp and clear, as well as the vocals sound less gritty and blown out and peaky. But I feel like they scoop out a little bit of the mid to, like, you can tell better what's going on in every single track. I think that in doing that, they remove some of the power from some of the bigger moments.
Oh, they took some of the body out of the album?
Yeah, and so like it's really great to hear different parts of the album that you maybe didn't notice before, but some of the most important parts, like the big ending of Pecan Trees, doesn't have the same kind of power to it.
Yeah.
And it's also hard to remove from the fact that I've listened to this album like 30, 40, 50 times. Like, I love this album already.
Yeah.
So I kind of might just like the way I've heard it the most times.
I had to listen to a different recording of the album because the version on Spotify sounds awful. I don't know what they've done. It just sounds so crushed.
It's because of the layers and how washy it is. I think it does not handle compression well, this album.
No. So I listened to an uncompressed version of it that I was able to obtain. And that sounds fine.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. And
it sounds full-bodied.
And in general, it is like a murky mix. That's just like how it was mixed.
Yeah, indeed.
And it's a wall of sound type album. Yeah.
Any special features with your 45 copy?
So the special features, one, I got the pink and orange swirl version of the special edition. It's not my favorite looking of the special editions, but it is nice, and it's nice that it captures the cover.
When it plays, does it look cool?
No, it's not that. It looks nice. It's not. Okay. It's nothing. They have a cool like splatter one that I really liked, but I didn't get that one because it wasn't the one that was at the store.
How much you pay for it?
We'll get there in just a second. On the back cover is a note from the vocalist George Clark, talking about the state of the band at the time when it was written, as well as a list of tracks. On the inside is in a similar but not quite the same font, is some sort of poetry that isn't from the album, I don't believe.
Oh, interesting.
But it's kind of topically related. Same kind of, I don't know,
like
2013 emo guy.
Some of the same sentiments.
2013 artsy emo alcoholic, basically what this album lyrically is. So it fits the vibe.
Isn't that the title of your biography?
I don't say meth addict. That's close. As a package, it's pretty nice. The gatefold is very durable. The cover is not glossy, and I really appreciate that because I think it captures the color of the album art better.
Sort of more of like a satin finish.
It's like a paper finish. It's like paper. Yeah. I don't need a gloss finish. I think it kind of would throw off the vibe. Yeah, that's kind of it. I think there might have been a download code in something. Maybe there's a poster. It's not in front of me right now. But maybe if you couldn't tell until now, then I did a good job. Except for when I let it slip. What did I pay for it? I paid 45 Canadian dollars. I bought it when I was in Nanaimo and visited the cool record store there. I can't remember the name of the store. I feel terrible. But for our one listener maybe who lives in Nanaimo, go there. It's in downtown Nanaimo. Crazy big store. Had an awesome selection. But it was just like, I could not believe how big it was. You know how like usually it was like the full depth of the city block. It was not like, instead of being two stores with one facing the other side of the street, it was like just the full depth.
Jeez.
It was hard to believe.
Yeah, we're the number 2 music podcast in the Lower Mainland, but I don't know about our penetrations in the island.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I think sure it was pricey. It is a nice quality double LP, and it is the year of our Lord 2025, so things are just expensive.
Yeah.
But also it's an album that I absolutely adore. So I was happy to have it in my collection. Yeah, and one of the things that got in the way of me listening to this album, I will say, was the fact that Deafheaven just released a new album.
Yeah,
and it's so good.
Yeah, and those are top songs on Apple Music. The first 9 is just the new album. I'm like, is that just every track on the new album is the top song right now?
That's crazy.
They came out 2 weeks ago. Basically when I was like, hey, we're gonna listen to Sunbather. Friday after I said that.
Oh, they
released a new album, and I was like, and it's really, really good, especially because I wasn't vibing with their It's so good that it made me like their previous album that I wasn't too keen on. I like it more now because I feel like I understand what they were trying to do now.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Bellavance, what's your final verdict?
The album is very cool, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. But I didn't really get it. Or maybe I did and I just didn't like it. I don't know. I guess maybe I got what I needed from it, which is some enjoyment, but not really anything too deep. I think that maybe this could grow on me over time and get bumped up at the end of the season. But for now, I'm putting Sunbather by Deafheaven in the 35th spot.
It's heaven.
What?
It is heaven.
Deafheaven?
Yeah.
Deafheaven.
Yeah.
I can't say it. Now it's Deafheaven. In the 35th spot, below Timeout by the Dave Brubeck Quartet, and above The Color and the Shape by Foo Fighters. Really cool ideas here that intrigued me, but ultimately was lost on me. Cool pick for an episode, though. You know, I like hearing new things.
Jamie, what about you?
I really like this album. But one of the things we've done this year is we also listened to a lot of really good albums that I enjoyed. So unfortunately, I ended up putting that in. Actually, it's not unfortunately. I put it's probably correctly rated on my list. It's in the number 17 spot, just above Watouche by Pez, and just below Weird Al Straight Outta Linwood.
There's something very funny about anything that's placed directly below a Weird Al album. I don't know what it's just like. Not as good as Weird Al. Not as good as the guy who makes jokes for music.
I like that.
No, I mean, I also love Straight Outta Linwood. I'm not
frequent listeners of the podcast may question why I enjoyed this album so much, but I thought it was really good. I think it's worth a listen. But maybe not if you're not into loud droning noses. Maybe
I think a testament to the fact that both of you guys enjoyed this album is that it's like it shows just how much crossover appeal this album has. Like,
certainly.
I would never have brought on like a different. I would not. There's far more extreme black metal albums, and I wouldn't have brought them on because I didn't think you guys would want to listen to them.
The AV Club said it was the number 3 album of 2013.
It's the best. It's the highest rated album on Metacritic for that year.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Pitchfork says it was the number 6 of the top 50.
Yeah, and like these are also like publications. I mean, Pitchfork does do metal, but like a lot of publications covering this album don't cover metal.
No,
at least not extreme metal.
Pitchfork hates music, though.
Well, not metal. They said it was the number 1 metal album of 2013.
I mean, I think Pitchfork loves music in their own way.
Yeah, the wrong way.
Yeah, I don't know. Pitchfork's got some crazy ratings every so often. For me, Deafheaven is a great band. I'm a huge fan. I've loved every single one of their albums except for their 5th one. But I'm learning to love that one more. And you know what? This was the album where it all started for me, and I think this is a incredible album and a great way to dip your toes into the world of metal if you're somebody who's more familiar with a lot of the alternative side of stuff. It's really rewarding. It's a layered, multifaceted, and emotional album, and just a great, iconic album cover. I'm gonna continue listening to this wonderful album for a long, long time, especially with an opener like Dreamhouse. It's really easy to just put it on and listen to those first notes. And I'm putting it in the number 9 spot on my list, above Charlie XCX's Brat and below Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion.
That makes sense.
Interesting company.
Good company, yeah. Well, you know what else is interesting? Next week's episode, where we're switching things up, we're going to see a movie.
Yeah.
The final verdict goes to the theater.
Pink Floyd's Live at Pompeii movie is back in theaters because of its 50th anniversary remaster.
Probably 50. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
We're seeing an IMAX.
Yeah.
So it's been
with extra height.
IMAX,
there's more stuff visible than the.
There's a 5.1 mix by what's his
Steven
nuts?
Wilson.
That's him.
The goat of surround mixes.
It might be controversial though.
What's controversial?
Well, we'll save it. Also, we have no idea what that episode looks like. We've never done a movie before, but tune in, watch a movie as well. Share your thoughts on it. Share your thoughts on this album in the comment section on the YouTube or Spotify. You can also leave comments, and if you're anywhere else, you can.
Review us on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
So the Pink Floyd's Live at Pompeii is available as an album, so you can listen to the tracks if you want to listen along with it. The film is just them playing it. So,
or go to the movies.
Yeah, go to the movies. Why not?
Pick up a popcorn on me. Send Jamie the bill.
Ugh.
When I say on me, I mean Jamie will pay. Not a large, though. Don't get greedy.
No.
You can get butter, though.
Oh, that's extra.
See you at the movies. Bye.
Bye.